Oh! Sorry about that. You snuck up on me doing my headlights. What we're doing is we're baking open our headlight. These are the spec-d headlights for the 2008 Scion XB, 2008-2010. We're baking them open, and we're going to do some LED work, hopefully. And I'm not going to do any painting or anything like that, but I am going to be resealing them too, obviously. That's the main reason I'm taking them apart. So let's see what we got going, and we'll jump right into it. Alright, so this is the spec-d headlight. As you can see, it's got the one halo over there, the 5 LEDs across the top. The main reason I replaced them was because I had one of these that were completely out, and then on the opposite side, one of them were flickering. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to see if I can replace these 5 LEDs with a different color. I have halo rings that's going to replace this halo. I'm going to see if I can add another halo here, and then, like I said, replace those 5 LEDs there. One, so that they match, and 2, because I just want to see if it can be done. I guess it can be done, but that's what I'm going to do because I want blue. So let's get into it. Okay, so what you want to do is, obviously, you want to test that it fits your oven. Set it on the lowest rack. That's what I've done, just to make sure that I have full clearance. And then you set it on bake. I did 270 degrees once it preheats, and then for 7 minutes, and that seems to be a great point for melting the butyl, the sealant, whatever you want to call it, for the actual headlight itself. And then I'll get over to it and show you the disassembly while this is preheating. Okay, so on these, they're actually pretty easy to take apart. There's not a lot. There's obviously this screw here that holds the casing to the actual lens part. You pop off the back of the light, this seal here, and then you have what I'm assuming is a positive and a negative little cap, and you just wiggle these off. Really hard to do with one hand, actually, so don't let anybody fool you. Let's see if I can do it. I can't do it with one hand, but you pull those off, and then you'll pull this other cap off and do the same thing there. And then with the LEDs across the top, these just pull out. So you just get your flathead screwdriver and, sorry, I guess this is a butter knife, but multi-purpose tool. But you just get on the edge of one of these little grommets where the LED is, and these just pop out. So you just keep working it, and it pops out just like this. And what I noticed too, which I didn't know before, this is an actual little wedge connector. So I'm thinking that you could probably just replace it with the Toyota Scion, whatever, little wedge LED. So let me see if I can pull this out, just like that. Then obviously, if you're going to be reusing these, just make sure you don't break these little pins off. But yeah, it just snaps right back in there. So you just take all these off. Make sure you get the resistors off too. It's 3M tape holding these on. And that's pretty much all you take off. And then you bake them. So let's get to that step. I did forget to mention about the, this is for the halo. It's just one little LED, but you pop this cover off and it's way down in there. I don't know if you can see it, but it pulls right out. So just get in there with some needle nose pliers or your flathead screwdriver, and it'll pop right out of its little location. Let me see if I can help you see this or not. I probably can't do it, not with one hand. So that's how you do it though. It just pulls right out of down in there, and that's it. Now if you're going to be replacing these, it'll be a lot easier to replace when you actually, or I'm sorry, when you reuse these. It'll be a little easier once the thing is detached, plug everything back in and get it all put back to where it actually goes. But for me, I'm not, so it's not that big of an issue. But with this other side, I wanted to do a dual halo. So I'm gonna probably end up putting it here. But the 90mm, just to give anybody a heads up who's wanting to buy 2 sets of these, it doesn't fit perfectly onto this side. You can see there's a little bit of overlap on that side and then offshoot on this side. I'm okay with that. If you wanted to go maybe a 90, I think it'd be okay. But I think once it's actually lit up and on there, you're not really gonna tell that much. But yeah, that's what it'll end up looking like once those all get set. And like I said, hot glue there. I'll run the wire right back behind here in this little crease. Just drill a small hole there. And then that's pretty much it. I know somebody else did one here, which I thought about as well, but I didn't really want to go through the trouble of what, that's probably a 40 millimeter, maybe give or take 30 to 50, who knows, but that's where I'm at. All right, so see if I can get this in here for you guys. That's how I do, or did my first one. This is just out of the oven, so it's hot, so just be careful. But this corner right here, where the turn signal is, I don't know if you can see it, this corner right here is the easiest to get under and to get it started, at least for me. So you get under here like this, pop this glue free, pop up that corner. And if you're going to be removing the original halo ring, it's just a piece of plastic really. The LED sits in behind here. Let me see if I can find it really quick. It looks like this. And it sits right there. And it just lights up the ring. But basically how to remove it is there's just a bit of hot glue here and here, and then there's a clip on each side that hook out like that. So you just depress it, you know, this way, and then they'll just pop right out of there. Okay, so once you remove the clip and hot glue, it just pops out. Like I said, it's just a little plastic ring that the LED sits right in there, shines across the little tubing, and that's how you do that. All right, let's get on to the LED ring install and let's see how it goes. Okay, and when you're prepping your LEDs, or at least this is how I'm doing it, I'm using some coating, some conformal coating, and it basically all it does is it just, you know, helps with moisture and waterproofing really. I use it on my drones, pretty much that's where it came from. But you just brush it on, it's got the little brush applicator, just like that, and you just brush it all over the surface, the back side, and then I also do the ring edge as well. It's probably overkill because they're encased, and if you have it protected well enough with the bushings and all of that good stuff, you're probably fine, but I tend to freak out a little bit, so I'm going to do those and then we'll get back to the install. These have had a chance to dry with the conformal coating on them. They're not wet, they're just shiny. The paper's still sticky. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a thin layer of hot glue in the crack here, because this is 90 millimeters. This sits in here perfect. For this one, because I don't want to put it on the edge right here because it just doesn't get good contact, I'm actually going to do it on the back side of the LED. And I'm going to put quite a bit, and then I'll go back around the cracks that I missed at different angles to make sure that gets seated down well. And I'll show you that step when we actually get there. So let's get that one seated, and then we'll get this one seated, and then I'll show you how I go back and fill it in. Okay, so now that they're set in, you can see a little bit of leftover glue here. You can actually either peel it or do what I do and just real lightly clip it with some angle clippers that I use for wiring. But basically what I do is I'll go through this side, and obviously I'll plug those holes with hot glue, that one, and that one, just to make sure that there's no water getting through there. And then on this side you can see there's a little bit of an overhang, and I'll just fill that up, and then I'll double check over here to make sure that it's got good contact, which it looks like it does. So then we'll just double check all with hot glue, and then that part will be done. So the halos are in. Like I said, I went back through and doubled up on some of the gaps for the hot glue, trimmed up some of the edges and whatnot. And then if you can see back here, went back and filled those holes with hot glue as well, just to give a little bit more security. And then let's see if I can get on the inside of this ring. Let's see, yeah, right down in there. Filled up on the back side of that, just off the edge. So just to clean it up a bit. All right, and then I've also decided that with these, instead of changing these to blue and then having to put them on a switch because you can't run with them here in the state of Washington because of laws of don't run with red or blue or you'll get pulled over, I'm gonna actually do a strip down here that'll feed through, and then I'll have my halos and this strip here on a switch so that I can turn them off and on. These are actually blue as well, so I can't run with these, but I have the orb thingy, this light, and then this light, and then these lights up here. So that'll be plenty for me. Like I said, I'll have these all on a switch, this strip here, this halo, and this halo. And then with the ball, orb, angel eye, whatever you want to call that, what I'm going to do is put it on a strip, or put a strip. You can see right down in there, there's the bulb on this little half shield piece. Do I have it apart? Yeah, here we go. So this one I've already taken apart. Taking the orb off the top, the angel eye, whatever. Like I said, it's just a little half plate where the light will shine through. And I'm gonna put a strip right here. I'm gonna hot glue it in, put a strip here. It'll feed back through the same hole as the actual light grommet itself. And then that will actually go to the halos and the strip that's gonna go along that bottom piece there. And it'll be all on the same switch, so that way when I turn those on, blue halos, that blue strip, and this will all glow blue. And then I can turn the switch off, and then obviously it'll be just the standard color. So I decided to go with strips on the inside. I was gonna go LED up in those little ports, but I didn't want to take those away because I still want my runners. And if I go blue, then I'm gonna get pulled over. So I just went strips across the bottom, one big one, went up the front side, and then one up over here on the back side. And then I also added one to the angel eye, orb, whatever the heck that thing is called. Obviously you've already seen the dual halos. Those are 90 millimeters again. Those are hot glued in. These are stuck down with the 3M backing, but then I went over just the edge with a little bit of hot glue just to make sure that they don't peel up. I tested all of them before I actually screwed the case back together. I haven't baked it back together yet, but basically you just put a bead of silicone all around the inside again, bake it for another few minutes, 270. I'll probably do for like 4 or 5 minutes, and then you just sandwich it all back together, and then start in the tough corner first, tuck that all the way in, and then that's going to be pretty much it. So let's cut over to see what they all look like lit up. I forgot to mention, with this side LED here, I didn't want to run the wires all the way around the inside of the case. I drilled a little hole right here and then fed the wire through, and then hot glue sealed that. Alright, so here's the lights all hooked up. I did notice the way that this is set up that the demon eye, you can't really see it. It gets drowned out by the halos, but you can see it when you move at certain angles. See, you can see the LED right there behind it, which lights it up, but then it's gone again, and it's just kind of drowned out. So let's turn the light on. Hopefully that'll take it away some and you can actually see what we're working with here. I really like it though. I think what I will do, now that I've seen it all together, is I'll take that demon eye there. See, there's that LED. When you move at certain angles, you can see it shine through. But what I'll do is I think I'm gonna switch that out and I'm gonna make it red. I think it'll really pop, and I actually think that it'll be useful at that point, you know, for looks or whatever. But yeah, that's what we're working with. And obviously I don't have the top LEDs in, or the bulbs, or at least that bulb's still in. So those aren't connected to the car or anything. So, but that's the final product. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it helps, and we'll see you on the next one.